Have you ever wondered why certain doors in your life are slamming shut just as the year 2025 comes to a close? Almost as if an invisible hand is steering you away from everything you once knew. Welcome to RationalDeen. I'm so glad you are here today because throughout this video you are going to learn exactly why these shifts are happening and what they mean for your spiritual and worldly future. We are diving deep into the divine decree and the serious decision Allah has made regarding your path as a chosen soul. Make sure you stay with me until the very end, because the insights we are about to share will fundamentally change how you view your trials, your purpose, and your destiny. You are here right now because a specific decree has been written for your soul to encounter this message at this exact second. This isn't just a random occurrence in your day or a lucky click on a video. It is a manifestation of divine timing. Allah knows exactly when your heart is most receptive and when your spirit is searching for answers that the world cannot provide. This appointment was set long before you even felt the urge to seek out guidance, serving as a direct bridge between your current confusion and the clarity that is about to follow. Think about the countless paths you could have taken today and the distractions that could have pulled you away. Yet here you are, listening to these words while the world continues its frantic pace outside. This is what we call a spiritual synchronization, where your internal need for growth aligns perfectly with a message designed to catalyze that transformation. You are being called to pay attention to the subtle signals that the Creator is sending your way, signaling that the period of wandering without direction has officially come to an end. This message is serving as a mirror for the thoughts you've been afraid to voice and the questions you've been asking in the silence of your late-night prayers. That feeling of resonance you are experiencing right now, that deep sense of knowing or that tightening in your chest, is the confirmation that this insight is intended specifically for your ears. It is a sign that you are being monitored with love, and that your journey is being curated by the Most High to ensure you do not miss the window of opportunity opening before you. When Allah wants to elevate a servant, He first guides them to the knowledge they need to sustain that elevation. You are currently in the process of receiving the blueprints for the next phase of your life, and that requires a level of focus and sincerity that most people simply do not possess. By being part of this divine appointment, you are acknowledging that you are ready to step out of the shadows and into the light of your true purpose, leaving behind the distractions that have kept you small for far too long. Understand that this moment carries a heavy responsibility because once the truth is presented to you, you can no longer claim ignorance. You are being invited to witness the unfolding of your own destiny as the year 2025 reaches its conclusion. This is the starting point of a profound metamorphosis, and your presence here is the first step in accepting the call that has been placed upon your life. The time for questioning your worthiness is over. The time for accepting your divine appointment is here. As we stand at the threshold of the end of 2025, it is vital to recognize that this year has functioned as a massive spiritual crucible for your soul. You may have felt as though you were under constant pressure, facing one trial after another without a moment to catch your breath. However, this intensity was not meant to destroy you, but to refine you into something far more resilient. Every challenge you faced was a deliberate part of a cycle designed to burn away the illusions and attachments that were preventing you from reaching your highest potential. The sifting process of this past year has been unlike anything you have experienced before, separating what is authentic in your life from what is merely a distraction. You might have noticed friendships fading, career paths shifting, or even your own internal beliefs being challenged to their core. This was Allah's way of clearing the landscape of your life, removing the weeds so that the seeds of the new decree could be planted in fertile, unobstructed soil. What felt like loss at the time was actually a divine protection, shielding you from future burdens you were not meant to carry. Now that the cycle of 2025 is completing, you are beginning to see the patterns behind the chaos. The tears you shed and the moments of profound loneliness were not in vain. They were the price of admission into a higher state of consciousness and a deeper connection with your Creator. You have been stripped down to your essence so that you can finally realize that your strength does not come from your external circumstances, but from the divine support that has been carrying you through the darkest nights of this year. This completion marks the end of your testing phase where your character was forged in the fire of patience and trust. You have survived the storm, and as the winds begin to die down, you will find that you are standing on a much firmer foundation than you were at the beginning of the year. The cycle of breaking is now transitioning into a cycle of building, but this new structure will be built on truth, sincerity, and divine alignment, rather than the fragile, ego-driven desires of your past. The finality of this year-end cycle serves as a gateway to the serious decision that is being written for your future. You are being asked to leave the baggage of 2025 behind and to walk through this door with a heart that is completely surrendered to the will of Allah. The decision has been made, the lessons have been integrated, and the cycle is closing to make room for a manifestation of grace that will far exceed the struggles you've endured. You are now prepared to receive what has been reserved for you since the beginning of time. The signature of the chosen is often felt long before it is understood. It begins as a quiet restlessness, a sense that the world everyone else seems so comfortable in is somehow foreign to you. While others find satisfaction in the mundane and the material, you have always felt a persistent hunger for something deeper, something eternal. This internal disconnect is not a flaw. It is the mark of a soul that has been set apart by its Creator for a specific mission that requires a perspective untainted by the masses. One of the most profound signs of this divine selection is the recurring pattern of isolation that has followed you throughout your life. You may have tried to fit in, to blend into the crowd, or to follow the conventional path, but doors were repeatedly closed in your face. This wasn't a punishment, but a form of divine quarantine. Allah has been keeping you away from certain influences and environments to preserve the purity of your spirit, ensuring that when the time for your calling arrived, you would be untethered from the world's expectations. The signature also manifests as an extraordinary level of intuition and spiritual sensitivity. You often perceive truths that others miss and feel the weight of situations that others ignore. This heightened awareness is a tool given to you so that you can navigate the complexities of the spiritual realm. It allows you to sense the unseen hand of guidance in your daily life, turning what others call luck into a clear recognition of divine intervention. You are being trained to see with the heart rather than just the eyes. Furthermore, being chosen often comes with a history of trials that seem disproportionately heavy compared to those around you. You have been tested in ways that would have broken a standard spirit, yet you are still standing. This endurance is the signature of a soul that has been forged in the fire. These experiences were not meant to merely hurt you, but to develop the empathy and wisdom required to help others who are trapped in their own darkness. Your scars are your credentials for the work that lies ahead. Ultimately, the signature of the chosen is a deep-seated feeling of responsibility toward the truth. You cannot simply live for yourself. There is an underlying drive to serve a higher purpose, to be a source of light, and to uphold the values of the Deen in a world that is increasingly losing its way. This is the seal of Allah upon your heart, a silent contract that binds your destiny to His will. Once you recognize this signature, your life ceases to be a series of random events and becomes a focused journey toward the ultimate goal. As the final days of 2025 approach, a monumental shift is occurring in the unseen realm concerning your personal destiny. This is not a subtle change or a minor adjustment. It is a serious and definitive decision made by the Creator regarding the next stage of your existence. For years, you have been in a state of preparation, often wondering when your true life would begin. That period of waiting has officially reached its conclusion. The decree has been written, and the celestial gears are moving to align your reality with this new, higher path. This decision marks the end of your anonymity and the beginning of your active service. Allah has observed your conduct during the trials of the past year, how you handled betrayal, how you maintained your faith in the face of lack, and how you chose kindness when you were treated with cruelty. Because you passed these internal tests, the decision has been made to elevate your status and expand your influence. You are being moved from the periphery of the spiritual struggle to the very front lines where your actions will have a profound impact on those around you. The weight of this decision is reflected in the sudden closing of old chapters that you might have still been trying to cling to. If you feel a sudden, sharp disconnection from your past, understand that it is a result of this divine decree. The decision to move you forward requires the total severance of anything that could act as an anchor. This is a serious pivot point where your potential is being transformed into actualist power. You are no longer being asked to just try to be better. You are being commanded to step into the version of yourself that was always intended. Why has this decision been made at the end of 2025? It is because the world is entering a phase of intense spiritual need, and you have been identified as a vessel capable of holding the light required for the coming times. Your growth has reached the necessary threshold, and the time for theoretical faith is over. The decision involves a massive redistribution of blessings, responsibilities, and spiritual insights toward you. It is a moment of divine investment where you are being given the capital of grace to perform the work you were created for. Do not take this decision lightly, for it carries the weight of eternity. When the Creator decides to change the course of a servant's life so drastically, it requires a corresponding level of commitment from the servant. You must meet this decree with total submission and a willingness to follow wherever the path leads, even if it defies your current logic. The decision is final. The pen has been lifted and the pages are beginning to turn. Your role now is to listen, to obey, and to prepare your heart for the magnitude of what is about to be revealed. The grueling period of trial you've endured throughout this year is officially drawing to a close. You may have felt like a piece of iron being hammered repeatedly on an anvil, but you must realize that the hammer was only used to shape you, not to break you. This testing phase was a necessary curriculum designed to measure your endurance and your reliance on the divine when all worldly means seemed to fail. Now, the heat is being turned down and the final shape of your character is beginning to set, signaling that you have passed the threshold of preparation. These tests were never meant to be permanent. They were a bridge you had to cross to reach the territory of your purpose. Every moment of silence from the heavens was actually a moment of deep observation, watching how you would behave when you felt most alone. By maintaining your integrity and your prayer when life felt like a desert, you have proven that your faith is not dependent on circumstances. The end of this phase means that the lessons have been integrated into your very DNA, making you a vessel capable of holding the immense blessings that are currently being prepared for you. The end of 2025 marks the point where the weight is lifted, allowing you to walk into the new year with a lightness of heart that you haven't felt in years. You have been cleared for takeoff, and the path ahead is being paved with the grace that is reserved only for those who did not turn away when the path became narrow and steep.